Welcome to USAFBL Fingerboard Podcast. I'm your host, Levine Cunningham, and I'm excited to be chatting with Chris of Loose Nut Fingerboarding Company. Chris, also known as Loose Nut underscore FB on Instagram. Chris, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it. How you guys doing?
Good, man. I am slightly disappointed in myself that we made it 100 episodes and we didn't get you on. Like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Oh, it's all good, man. I just wanted to stay in the scene long enough. I figured eventually I might have my chance, and
Well,
thankfully I did.
you've been stacking your resume. I've been out here. I've been
Oh
seeing
yeah,
you.
oh yeah. I've seen you at a couple events. Bumped into you a couple times. I know I've been hanging around. This is going on my third year now.
Touche, consistency. I like it.
Yep, yep.
Well, people that don't know who you are definitely one of the more premier deck makers out of, I want to say, North Carolina.
Yep, yep. I am out of North Carolina. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a couple of guys out here that are making decks. I know Marcus makes some decks out in Wilmington there. He's not too far away from me.
Yeah, Kramer FB, shout out to him. You got a whole
Hmm.
squad out there, to be honest with you. You've got
Yep.
warehouse ramps out there. You've got
Hmm.
all the Port City crew guys. You got Alex out there, Nugent Nugs FB.
Nugs, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a shop coming up soon. If it's not already out
Hmm.
yet, I gotta check in with him to be honest with you. I don't even know
Yeah,
if I'm even supposed to
radio.
say that on the podcast, but it's out there now.
Yeah, it's radio, I believe
Yeah,
is the name, yeah. There's some cool dudes. I don't get down there as often as I'd like to, but they've got some awesome stuff going down.
definitely. So how far out are you from those guys?
Just over an hour.
That's really not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. When they host the events, the Carolina Fingerboard Jams, I sponsored this past one and the one before that. Went out there and had a little booth set up. They've been housing some really cool events.
They are growing so fast. I know
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Dave has been making parks like crazy. Alex has basically been hungry hippoing all of those parks and he's got them all set up out there and like it's becoming a spot right now.
Yeah, yeah. Dave, the first obstacle I got actually was from Dave as he was kind of pulling out of the scene a couple of years ago, and I was selling a couple of ramps. So I started with a warehouse quarter and a little pyramid, little quarter to a pyramid. It was a the cool little piece, but I
Okay.
was glad to see him come back into the scene.
I'm glad he's still here. I know he had
Yeah.
some ups and downs and stuff, but I'm glad that he's still here and he's still kicking. And I mean, a couple fun facts. Like I actually have the first four of his parks ever made, which is kind of
Oh
crazy.
wow,
Yeah,
wow.
he built our competition park and three others for our 2021 first season tour.
Oh man, yeah. He's a wizard, dude. Dave is
He
awesome.
is, he is.
Yeah.
Well, that's nuts. I wish I was like an hour away from a really cool spot like that. I'm actually not doing
Yeah.
too bad. I've got the Black River storefront in Chicago. That's the
Ooh,
closest to me. So I
nice.
guess it's not too bad. So it's about 3.5 hours, depending on that Chicago traffic, of course.
Ooh. Yeah, I try to stay away from that as much as I can.
That's a different animal up there for sure. All right, so give us a little bit of your background. I know you said you're out of North Carolina, but kind of tell us like, skateboarding came first, fingerboarding came first. Kind of tell us how you kind of got into the scene.
Definitely skateboarding came first. I had two older brothers, so I was picking up their skateboards that were as big as I was at the time. Started with actually a CKY board. You may still be able to find the graphics. Some of these are hard to find nowadays, even on the Google image search. But there's a CKY graphic that was plaid with like a red background and like a ghost CKY kind of plaid pattern across the top of it. All right. It was a really cool board. I was back when like Jackass and Viva La Bam was, you know, like on everybody's TV every night. That was my start was getting into skateboarding first, and of course collecting tech decks. I've got a wall in the back room there of some old tech decks that have never been opened, some blind boards from the late '90s. I got some cool gems back there, but I never really. messed with the tech decks too much, other than as a young kid would just kind of popping my hand on it, not really doing any tricks. But then I eventually kind of started messing with fingerboards or with tech decks, like actually doing some tricks, and then kind of dropped that and kept skating. Then I started getting old, got too close to 30, and skating hurts a little too much now. Started fingerboarding again and messing around. This first board that I got was a Roswell setup, a complete Roswell,
Okay.
and I wasn't wasn't super impressed. So I tried to get another setup in the scene, and Trollog. I don't know if you know the fingerboard meme page. Have you heard of that Trollog
I have
FB?
not.
Okay, so the guy that runs that meme page sold me a Snapped Co deck that the bottom ply is a um Red Bull can. It was
Okay.
pretty cool little board, but that got me into to messing around with the fingerboard stuff and couldn't quite find what I liked. So it's like, well, I might as well try to make one. And here we are. It's fast forward 3 years later, and I'm grateful to be in front of you.
Man, that's a journey. So you went from a Roswell to a Snapco and then starting your own
Yeah,
brand.
I got bit pretty hard with the bug, man. I bought a bunch of brands between starting making boards and now. I have a really comprehensive collection. As it look some to me, it's my research and development pile is how what my team refers to it as. Um, there's pretty much everything in there. The only boards that I haven't gotten are some of the like newer up and coming guys, and a lot of those I have tried out as well. One of my favorites, besides mine, of course, would be DK. I think.
Okay. I have actually not had an opportunity to try any of their stuff, which is kind of crazy. No, I was gonna say like I've probably blown through like 40, 50 different brands and probably 100 different mold shapes between all of them, and
Yeah,
somehow they've kind of slipped through the cracks for me.
it's easy for it too. That's why like I hear a lot of times I've never heard of you. Like where's what do you mean loose nut? I've never heard of you guys or something. Like it's I understand there's so many board makers out there, and these people are so talented. Like it's hard to shine making boards. You really have to set yourself apart. It's a cool it's a cool hobby to be in, and an even better like community too.
No, I definitely understand that. Consistency is definitely key, and longevity is like what everybody in the scene really needs to kind of like thrive for. Like you got to look at everything as like a 5 year plus like venture. Like I feel like if you don't want to put in the 5 years, like I almost kind of recommend people kind of like not really get into making products and things like that because there's just so many companies that they'll just blow up, they'll be super hyped, and then like a year or two later, like they just out of sight, out of mind. Like you're like, oh yeah, what happened to that company?
That does happen all too often to some really great products. First thing that came to mind as we're speaking of that would be the Blossom hardware, the Blossom base plates, and I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I am not. I feel like I should be though.
Ooh. Blossom FD, for the listeners out there, if you know, you know kind of thing. Those Blossom FD, they were titanium hardware and titanium base plates. They were absolutely beautiful. I never magnet tested them to see if they were truly titanium, but they looked great, and the hardware going into the base plate at the time was the cleanest threads, like the smoothest threads. It was impossible to cross thread the bolts. Like it was, as soon as I tried them, I was like, well, I'm only ever using these forever now. So I hope whatever hanger fits that I like, and dynamic hangers fit them perfectly. So I was stuck
Oh,
on Blossom FBs for a while.
now you got me going down a rabbit hole. That's crazy. But they're no longer kind of in the scene or
They're gone. They're gone. They
that's
used to
wild.
be sold. Uh, I'm gonna forget the name here. They used to be sold by a couple distributors, but they're gone now.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I've
If
got
you're
a
lucky, every
massive
now and
list.
then, if you're lucky, you'll see a set come up secondhand, and they go quick.
Yes, that's crazy. Yeah, I got a massive list. I don't know if I feel like I should be like throwing some of these people out underneath the bus or not, but there's definitely a lot of people that kind of had their cycle and kind of phase themselves out. And so it's sad to me, honestly. Like I don't want like everything to be like really saturated, but at the same time, like, Blossom fingerboards. Like I think that's an awesome product. I feel like if you can interchange your base plates that don't strip ever, like that's huge. And I would love to see stuff
Hmm.
like that, like still being in the marketplace for sure.
Yeah, and I have to give the benefit of the doubt too. Like, probably had a lot of family stuff going on, or maybe work life stuff. That fingerboarding stuff just came way more way more as a priority as opposed to the fingerboard stuff, which I understand. A lot of some of the even the biggest dudes, the biggest people in the business, they need a break.
Well, I mean, everything is handcrafted and everything takes time. Like
Oh
for
yeah.
instance, Black River just posted post like what 2 days ago, 3 days ago from this recording about I don't know if you saw it, but like they had a post where they had, you know, they're talking about like they have like three full-time
There's
employees that
three
just
board makers.
yeah, that
Yeah.
make boards
Hmm.
all day long, I guess, according to like the post. They got three full-time guys just making boards all day. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But I mean, that's obviously next level type stuff for a lot of our small brand, fingerboard company stuff like that. But just looking at things like that and realizing, like, in order to pump out large quantities of stuff, like it literally takes a lot of manpower to make that stuff happen.
It really does. It really does. The ability to have three full-time paid people who can feed their themselves and their families by making fingerboards. That's awesome. I think everyone strives for that to that level, but they're the biggest in the game, really. Like the that Black River shop and the Aussie Berlin, that crowd, they're awesome. I hope one day I can get out there and take a take a look myself at all their cool stuff.
Fast Fingers 22 could be your chance next year. I had the opportunity to go
Oh
last
man,
summer and I got a little sneak peek behind the scenes. Like the equipment, obviously, like everybody was that was working, like was, tending to the event and stuff. So I didn't really get to see anything being made, but got a little sneak peek behind the curtain as far as like the equipment and stuff and where they do it and things like that. It's kind of cool.
time and talent. That's what you're paying for and what you're getting. Time and talent.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, what do you think for like a fingerboarder who's thinking about making decks? Like, I mean, what do you think the process is from getting from like research and development to like getting to like a Black River stage? Like what like key points or takeaways do you think you can kind of give us?
Oh man, this is my favorite. I love to help try to give out some of the secrets. A lot of people try they kind of overcomplicate things as myself as I did as well. I started with a 3D printed mold, and that got me just as far as probably any other mold style will get you. The mold is, I wouldn't say that it's means nothing, but it's not the entire thing. Starting out, I mean, like if you're just wanting to start out, you just want to make your own board, get any mold that you can. Like any mold that you can that you think you like. You won't know until you press a board with. Like it's kind of a it's a if you have access to someone with a 3D printer or something like that, that's a huge, huge advantage over the people that started making molds with Bondo, right? Like molds used to be made with tech decks. So thankfully, by the time I had gotten into making boards, a lot of the hard work had been done, you know. So I have, I've worked with CAD programming, so I was able to make a mold pretty easily. And the hard part was just finding dimensions that you like. You'll fall into so many rabbit holes on kick angles, the concave depth. like the shape of the concave because you don't want to skate a fingerboard that's a half circle, right? Like the inside of a barrel. So there's dimensions to the depth of that, to the radius of how much the concave is at different spots. Like it's as complicated as you want to make it. But when you're just getting started out, get yourself a mold, press some real veneer, some real maple veneer, find anything close to 1/42nd of an inch, and you'll be fine. You'll want to cross those grain patterns. You want to end up with vertical patterns on your top and bottom. For adhesive, a lot of people overcomplicate this. Just stick to Gorilla Glue. Just not even wood glue, just regular Gorilla Glue that foams and makes a mess. It's the best thing you can do. I've tried countless adhesives, at least 15 different adhesives. It depends on how humid your environment is and the temperature too. So the hardest part is just getting a solid board. And once you do that, shaping is easy. You can do shaping by hand with sandpaper. You can do it with a file. You can do it with a router, with a belt sander. You can get creative and make it work really. The hardest part is getting that board shaped right and then getting those truck mounting holes. Took me about a year to get those truck mounting holes symmetrical. I stripped out a lot of my own base plates because of my own drilling, and I used drill presses. I wasn't drilling anything by hand. It's tough to do starting out. It is. It can be really tough, but once you start getting some boards made, you'll realize what you like and what works, what doesn't work. It's just even if I explain every step, you can't you can't expect someone to understand it until they actually go through the process themselves. It's a long journey. You learn as you
I agree. I agree 100% with that. The journey is, they always say like it's not the destination, it's the journey. And
go. Yeah,
it took me a long time to really like understand that whole like saying, that philosophy. And the reality is that like you have to fall in love with the journey. And so like, for instance, like even just like this podcast, like for me, like getting to 100 episodes has been like a goal for like a long time. And like I hit that goal and I'm like, I'm not trying to downplay that goal at all, but like I hit it. Now I'm like, okay, what's
what's
next? And
next?
and so like
Hmm.
but the realization is like getting to 100 episodes is great, but the fun part of it was literally getting to 100 episodes. And so like it took me a while to kind of like understand that like the journey of getting to where you want to be is supposed to be the fun part, not the actual destination itself. And so I think people have to really fall in love with what they're doing and realizing that once they do get to where they want to be, they've got to now like figure out a new journey to go to because the destination really isn't the end. It's just the beginning.
Hey, I call that drive, or I guess.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have the same affliction. Once I solve a problem or once I fix something on a mold, I started immediately on another mold. It took me over a year and a half to finish the second mold. I tried multiple different variations, ended up settling on a set of dimensions and got Doe FB in Ukraine to cut me some aluminum. And I just been using those aluminum molds ever since. I started with 3D printed plastic stuff. You can that's why I was saying start with whatever you can find. You'll get there.
No, most definitely. My journey was kind of weird with it as well. I actually started off with the Bondo molds, the auto, like you go to like O'Reilly's or Napa or Advance Auto, wherever you live, they got the car Bondo stuff, and that's
Hmm.
how I started it off with. Like looked up a YouTube video. They're like, yeah, dude, get some Bondo, mix it, and then like, lay it in, and then you literally kind of sand it to where like you want to and stuff. And like, so I
Yep.
had the two parts and literally was sanding it, and like it just didn't work out. I mean, it was cool, but it just didn't really work out. Then I moved up to the 3D molds, and then I moved up to punked molds and then moved to an aluminum mold. And so that's kind of like the process for me. But it's just 3D molds are okay, but like there's no longevity to them. Really, it's just like if I
Right.
want to test out a new shape or a new mold or a new like concave kick tail, like just the angles, all that stuff. Like, oh, get a 3D mold that's pretty close and be like, you know what, I like how this feels and kind of use it as a reference.
They are great for prototyping out something new. I've used a lot of filament, used up a lot of filament testing out new shapes.
So you got your own 3D printer then.
I've got a little farm going. Yeah, I've got three 3D printers that are FDM printers. They're not quite as vital to fingerboard making now, but I do have a resin printer as well. Been doing some things with that.
Okay, okay, I see.
Yeah,
That helps with the
little.
the R&D for sure.
Oh yeah, I've been doing a little behind the scenes stuff as always.
All right, well, tell me about the brand Loose Knot. So, where does the name come from? And I guess tell me when exactly you got it started.
So the beginning was 3 years ago now. So the beginning of 2022 was when I started everything. Gathered the team together, I guess, is when I would consider the conception of Loose Nut. I've had a couple people with me since the beginning, but the name of Loose Nut actually came from a guy that I used to work with at a car dealership. It was one of my earlier jobs that I had, and it's the first person I worked with that I got to see retire. So he was an older guy, full of sayings, little old wives' tales and stuff like that. He had all kinds of stories. But somebody came in, and there was a customer that came in that was giving them a lot of trouble, saying that their car had some problems, and it didn't. And the old man I was working with said there's a loose nut in between the steering wheel and the driver's seat. So he was calling the person a crazy person. So it just kind of stuck with me that he called him a loose nut, and I can consider myself a little bit of a crazy person every now and then. So it was tough to come up with a name, so I just threw loose nut in there and kind of went with it.
Okay, okay. I like
Yeah,
names with a story behind it. I think right now in 2025, if he was to start a new brand, finding a name for that brand right now would be incredibly difficult.
it wasn't easy then either. I'll tell you that. I looked around for a while, couldn't find any loose nut references to any companies. I saw a couple race cars that called like drag race cars that had named themselves Loose Nut, but no companies yet. So we're working on trademarking
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah, you may have to get on that quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even when I started Curved back in like what 2022 or whatever, like that
Hmm.
was hard to come up with for me. And I was just like, this is because all the cool stuff's like it's not so much that, like there's not another brand that has your name. It's finding like the social handles and stuff that you want for it as well. So like
Yeah.
you may have a great name, but like all of the social handles for your name are like all taken, like all the spellings, all the underscores, like everything is like gone. Like you can't get none of it. And it's like, oh, that's brutal. Because you came a long way. Like you've sponsored events. I know you sponsored a few things that we've done and stuff in the past as well.
Yep. I've sponsored quite a few events last year, 2024. This year I'm trying to top what I did last year. I have 6 events right now that I'm sponsoring this year. Um, one of them is coming up. The one coming up the earliest will be the UMF homies sesh down there. Your mom's favorite
Yeah,
fingerboards, Caden down there. Yeah, he's a good friend. He'll be hosting an event down there that I'll be sponsoring.
right on. It's actually a sanctioned event for us as well. I think he's got
It's
the
another
game
one.
of
Yep.
skate. It's being sanctioned at his events. So that's going to be a good time and stuff for sure. So shout out to Caden, your mom's favorite fingerboards. I want to say that's March 22nd on the top of my
Yes.
head. So,
Yep. Yep. I'm also another event that I'm sponsoring that you guys are a part of is the Fingers on Fire up there in
oh,
Strathmore, I believe.
yeah, Alberta, Canada with Brandon Keeler, 50
Hmm.
digits 403 FB, I think.
That's it. That's it. Brandon, his name comes up on a lot of these podcasts. I love to hear it, man. He's a good friend, good close friend too.
No, definitely. Brandon's he's kind of got his pinky dipped in
He does all my
everything.
art.
Yeah,
And
that's the thing.
yeah,
Like, people, I don't know how to even explain it. It's kind of like in the movie industry, like you got like your producer, like no one
yeah,
knows
yeah.
who the producer is for anything, but like a producer can be literally producing like 5, 10, 15 projects. You'll never know. Like all you see is like, the actor or the star or whatever, like the face of whatever the project is, but you don't really know like who's running all the strings. And I feel like Brandon's like that guy that's got his pinky dipped in all these cool projects.
He does. He does. He's a busy, busy guy. Busy guy.
I don't even know if I'm even at liberty to even say this in the pod, but we're actually working on a collab with him for Plies. We're
Ooh,
going to be dropping an exclusive deck graphic,
ooh, exclusive.
exclusive. So I don't know if it'll make it for April. It'll either go for April or May, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, we've got we'll leak that on the podcast, I guess. But yeah, we've got a collab going on there,
Nice.
so.
That's awesome, man.
It'll be my
Awesome.
first collab too, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Which is kind of crazy that we've been doing our thing for so long, but we haven't really like truly done like a real collab like with like merchandise and stuff. We've done collaboration events, but we've never done like merchandise collabs. So it's definitely a new thing for us.
Oh well, maybe there's some collabs, some curbed collabs on the horizon coming up.
Could be. It's still early in the year. Lots
It
of lots of
is.
things can
It is.
happen. Lots of
It
things can
is.
happen.
I got some collabs coming out as well. I don't think I can. I don't think I can say yet, but there's there's some stuff. There's some stuff.
Well, I mean, the episode is a little, it's still early in the episode, so you never say never.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Man, all right. So walk us through the buying guide of purchasing your deck. So for someone who hasn't purchased a deck and they want to give your brand a try, kind of walk us through like the shapes, the sizes, the molds, like kind of, tell us the deets on what you got going on.
All right. So the way that my website is set up, it's all by graphics. So everything is a RealWear graphic. Proud to say I finally got to that point. Um, I'll save you the story on that. It's you know how well guarded that secret is in the industry.
I understand.
I I certainly don't mind telling. So that's but as far as RealWear goes, the uh, the best way that I could say when on the website, click on the graphic you like, you go into the description, pick your size. It's as simple as that. Like there's all of the different sizes that I have in there, and they're all broken down by their molds as well. There's a shape and a mold guide. So I try to keep the mold choices and the shape choices pretty simple. I started out with 7 different molds, and I've reduced that to 2. Seems to be like the favorites. I've got a more aggressive mold that seems to be the as the team calls it, the cheat code. They That's the favored mold of everybody. Um, it's a little bit steeper than what most people are used to, or what most people think that they'll like. Um, but I've got the kick angles matched really well with the depth of the pockets. So the pockets being obviously for those that don't know, the deeper section of the board right beside where the wheel will be. So if you're looking at the side profile of the board, we're looking at this section right here. Depending on the depth of that in relation to how steep the end of the board is, that is where a lot of the quote unquote feel of the deck actually comes from. So with the M8, it's a little more aggressive. I also have the M6, and as the name would suggest, it's slightly mellower. So that's more for the people that are more keen to a more mellow shape of the deck itself. So M6 mold and the M8 mold are your two choices on the mold shapes. And then the actual shapes of the board themselves, I stick with what I call the Catalina, which is what people would be more familiar with a popsicle shape, but it's just slightly tapered. Literally, it's like a zero point 0.8 degree taper, so it's a very gradual. Hardly anyone notices. It just kind of balances the board out a little bit. Again, it's one of those research and development things I kind of got stuck on, but also I have a Sunseeker shape, and that's more of an egg shape. And both the mold and the shape guide can be seen on my Instagram as well as my website.
Where are all the places where people can pick up a deck? Is it only on your website? Do you have like distribution centers, like, other companies, storefronts, anything like that?
So right now, as of now, the only way you can get a loose nut deck is through myself.
Gotcha. No worries. Direct to consumer. I like it.
Yeah, that way it's I try to stay as cheap as I possibly can. And if distributors are involved, it's not that I'm against it by any means. It's just that if they're involved, oftentimes they need to make their money on it too. So people end up paying more for the same product. So kind of want to avoid that. I want everybody to have a chance to get something too.
No, understand. It's a hard model to crack, especially in our industry because everything's handmade. It takes time, it takes love.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk recently with people getting bulk made decks, lasering their logos onto them and slapping a graphic on them and getting them out. So I like to post videos of my board making process. Go ahead and extinguish any of those thoughts about a loose nut deck.
Oh, sometimes you got to show the authenticity of what's going on behind the scenes for sure. Man, that's crazy. I know you have team riders, right?
Oh yes, yes I
I
do.
I thought I've seen a couple.
I've
That's,
got a stout stable of riders, man. I'm really proud of those. Really proud of those folks.
all right, well definitely
Yeah.
showcase your peoples.
Oh man, yeah, of course, of course. I got Boozy ramps, Boozy and Stovetop both. The two of them have been with me the longest out of. I got a big team. So we got Boozy and we've got Stovetop, of course, who was just on the podcast. His wife Soul, so that'd be Soul. She's awesome as well. I could really talk about to talk about all these folks for a while. We got T Philly too. He's out of Arizona, same as Booze. They're on that West Coast side, holding it down, representing Loose Nut for me over there. And on the East Coast, we have a majority of our riders. Redbeard FB, he's Austin. He's up in Vermont there, way out there. But you'll see all of us East Coasters out there at VU this year too. I got bougie boards as well. Um, Sam, that's a close friend. Make sure I haven't missed anybody. Yeah, that's all my team riders right there.
Okay, okay. What do you look for when you're selecting a team rider? Like what is the thought process, I guess, behind like adding a team rider to the Loose Nut crew?
Um, it's tough there because there's a huge amount of talent out there. So when it comes to like prospecting for riders, I always have my eyes open. I do try to take into account like who is kind of local to, if not myself, or then another one of the team members. That way, someone can try to be local. Unfortunately, we're scattered, across the United States. But what I'm looking for when something catches my eye is some good footage, not necessarily the most complex tricks, but just something with some style to it. Like even if it's something as simple as I don't know, just posting a couple kick flips down like a little stair set or something like that. Like you can tell when you have a clean catch that's in the air that you've caught and then put down as opposed to a board flipping, bouncing off of the table and then you're landing it. There's a sound to it. There's obviously you can see them in videos. Um, I I like to see people that are posting videos of just clean tricks. That shows me that you've taken some kind of care into the video that you're putting out. It's also just fingerboarding too. So you can't really get the so caught up with that stuff. But as far as what I'm looking for is just a a good clean trick, good filming, and a presence in the scene. Someone that's consistently been present, and they're not always the ones you're hearing come up in some sort of drama. I try to stay away from that as well.
I feel that. There's a the drama portion of fingerboarding can literally make or break you being on a team or not. I'm actually talking with a couple people that have a couple team riders that are little loose-lipped on the Instagram feeds and stuff, and it's getting them in some hot water and stuff. And so I'm seeing it a little bit firsthand, but it's very easy to speak your mind, but it's also very cautious that like, you're also representing, a brand, a team, an organization that's, bigger than just you. So it does have some pros and cons to being able to do some of that stuff. So I understand that 100%. It's kind of crazy out here.
Yeah, I got nothing but friends out here.
No, I get it. That's the politics side of fingerboarding and stuff for sure. Because, fingerboarding, skateboarding, it's supposed to be one of those like, you know, rebel without a cause type stuff, but it's really hard to be a rebel in this day and age. It's not the same as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Man, all right, so I think this might be a good time to get into the listen to win. You
Oh, all right, all right. Would you like to?
want me to do the honors? Okay.
Yeah, sure. You got it.
All right, so Chris here is going to be giving away a mystery deck M8 mold. So, a mystery deck
That's right.
M8 mold, and he is looking for the steeziest front side flip.
That's right.
He is bringing it back to the basics. We're looking at the fundamentals right here. So we're looking for the steeziest, looking for the cleanest catch. Like we want the entire package. We're looking for the best front side flip. So audio comes out Wednesday, video comes out Thursday. Contest ends Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have to tag USAFBL, USAFBL underscore FBP, and loosenut underscore FB. So good luck. Get those fingers ready. Get those stretches ready. We're expecting a lot of submissions. Frontside flip, not too challenging, not too challenging. So it opens
It's
the
not the
floodgates for
hardest.
everybody.
It's not the hardest trick. Everyone will at least have a chance, but no reverts, clean front side 180.
I like it. I like it. Man. All right. I know you've got some upcoming projects that you may want to leak on the podcast. Anything cool?
I yeah, there's a little bit of something going on. As I mentioned earlier, do have that resin printer now, so I have been messing with some wheels. Um, I've actually been seshing these wheels for a couple weeks now, and they're on my torture deck. So this is the board that I use for all of my torture testing.
Okay.
Anytime I change, I recently changed clear coats, so I use this board to test my clear coats. I have videos. My team hates to see them, but I have videos of me beating this board against bricks and center blocks to try and get them to break and to try and peel to simulate the hardest use that I possibly can. Unrealistic use, obviously. But these are the wheels that I've been torture testing here. They will be I'll be sending you a picture in as well. They're just resin printed wheels. They're similar in size to like your minis. They're not quite the micro. They're not really a regular size, just a little bit smaller than that as a prototype run. And they do say loose nut across the outside of it. That's
Ooh.
embossed into it, and the emboss is going to be on every wheel. Those are shielded bearings. They won't be a free spin. And I'm trying to make them the most affordable wheel that trying to make them the most affordable wheel that there is.
Okay, okay. I like the cause. I like the purpose. I like the research and development. I like that. The crash test dummy portion of R&D is always my favorite. Like just thrashing it and seeing if it holds up.
Yeah, I've thoroughly abused this set of wheels here. They've held up. I haven't cracked one or had a bearing slip out yet, so everything is going pretty easy with that. I also have a another little secret, I guess I could let out. I've been messing with some carbon fiber as well, so I'll be introducing a carbon fiber deck into the into the products. The carbon fiber deck will be a it'll be a 2 or 3 layer added to a 5-ply deck. It adds that surprising amount of rigidity to it. So the pop feels pretty springy. It's a different feeling, but it's not any heavier. So for some of the folks that do like the heavier setup trucks, may be interested in something like that with the carbon fiber ply, which either way that carbon fiber is going to be a it's going to be a nice new addition to the products.
I'm stoked. I mean, I've seen carbon fiber decks, throughout the scene, but I've never seen, I mean, is this going to be like a fairly common option for people to purchase through you?
Oh yes, yeah, it's going to be something as common as, a different mold shape. But of course, I'll be offering just like a it would just be like a simple add-on.
Well, see, that's the game changer right there, because all the carbon fiber stuff just comes in like limited drops throughout, random companies and stuff. So like if you happen to get one, like awesome, but like the odds of being able to find one in the scene is very, very hard. So I'm stoked to be able to have a go-to now for carbon decks and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's of course it's not like a solid carbon fiber chunk. It's whenever I lay my 5 plies, I sandwich a layer of carbon fiber sheeting that they use to make carbon fiber plates with. So
Mm,
it's what you would soak with epoxy to then, make carbon fiber sheets. But
gotcha.
yeah, yeah. So I add that in my ply stack, and it's a really nice change. It's a it's a really cool feel. I think folks will really like it.
That's awesome. Do you have a timeline for this, or is it still kind of?
So the I'm still testing the carbon fiber. I want to make sure that it's not going to weaken the bond between the 2 plies that it's sandwiched between. It should have no issues. I put a lot of pressure on the boards. In fact, I tried to snap it, like that on the corner of the table, and it actually held up to majority of my weight. I'm a pretty small guy, but it held up to a majority of me. So I don't think I'm gonna have any troubles with strength there.
No, understand. Well, I'm excited. I think your fans are gonna be excited for this as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'm happy to let it out. There's there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on for sure. I'm always busy trying something new.
Man, all right. So what other hobbies do you have besides fingerboarding, skateboarding that people may not know about you?
Oh man, I am into the RC stuff a little bit. They've actually started hosting RC events at the warehouse here an hour away from me where the
Yeah.
homies are over there at Port City. So I've messed with the RC cars and planes and stuff like that since I was pretty young. So I still do that every now and then. Fewer chances now, but I got my nephew into it, so he
Okay.
loves to do it when he comes over.
You're like two of like the most like expensive mid-hobby like things that you can basically do. Like fingerboarding gets up there and RC drift car gets up there as well.
Yeah, I don't I don't have any of the drift cars. I just have mainly planes and which certainly isn't any cheaper than the the drift cars. They don't crash as well as the drift cars do.
Fair enough, fair enough. Man. Well, I mean, as long as you got it, you're good. That's all that matters. I'm like, oh, because I want to get into the drift car stuff and I look at the prices and I'm like, I don't think I can do it. But it's just weird because I look at the fingerboarding side of it and I'll spend the same amount, don't even bat an eye. But like the RC drift car, for some reason, like I just can't. The value thing is just like clouding my
Go
judgment.
to
But
just go to a local event first before you drop the money on it. If you're by Chicago, you there's got to be a bunch of events up there.
oh,
Just
I
go hang
can
out at one.
imagine. Yeah.
Just the
I
scene
know
there is really nice. Somebody will let you drive their car. You'll enjoy it.
that's probably what'll end up happening because I know like Phoenix FB out of Dallas, Texas, he does the drift car. He has like one of those interactive maps that actually has like it looks like 500 locations on this map. It's so clustered, but like I'll take a look and see if there's anything close by because that's
I've
what happened to
I
me in
actually
fingerboarding.
I actually submitted him to put those guys up there at warehouse, put them on the list. It's a really cool thing they're doing.
That's not, yeah. I mean, that's what you got to do, man. You got to keep all the scenes alive. But yeah, that's what happened to me, man. When I went to my first fingerboarding event, I actually rolled up with a Tech Performance Series deck because I just like couldn't justify dropping 100 plus on a deck and went to my very first event and felt some setups and left there like I gotta spend that money. Like, so it's kind of weird, like going up freehand. I'm not gonna spend that kind of cash. That's just crazy. That's nonsense. And you feel how like smooth and how good everything feels. And you're just like, yeah, I like literally the first thing I went back is I like literally like pulled out the credit card. I'm like, I gotta try this. I gotta try that. Like, so I feel like once I get into like the RC car like scene and like I'm able to like experience it, things like that, I'm confident like my whole thought process will change.
It's a whole community, man. They'll draw you in.
Facts, facts. Well, I'm sure you got a nice little list of shout outs, people you want to recognize.
I do. I'm actually wearing a Fingerbob shirt there.
Okay.
The Fingerbob helped me quite a bit in the scene. Of course, I had to make me a nice little list here. Brandon Keller, of course, we talked about him. He's been doing the art for me since first bit of art that came out. He's a great dude. Uh, really think highly of Brandon. Dave, of course, with Warehouse. We mentioned him earlier. Nugs as well. Kramer, of course, too. Those are some close homies. Doe FB, of course, making the molds. UMF, the homie Caden.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got a few little shout outs as well. Well, first off, if
yeah.
you're watching this on our Patreon account before everybody else, thank you for all the love and support. You get early access to all of these things, Supplies Magazine, the podcast, tour events, any intel. You get all that stuff first on our Patreon account. League memberships are live. Get your customizable profiles. Definitely join the Discord as well. It's still cold outside. I got snow outside. Definitely cop a cool t-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie. Those are live on the site as well. I think we're up to like 17 or 18 sanctioned events this year already, which is pretty crazy because it's still
Hmm.
February as this recording is going down. Of course, we've got the tour this year. We've got Portland, Philly, Detroit, Atlanta, and Indianapolis. 2 and 3 day events. Go check those out on the website as well. Tickets and vendor booths are there. And if you're looking to sponsor any of the events, definitely hit me up at USAFBL. And then we've got the very, very controversial power rankings list getting ready to launch here in like a week or two. So we've
Hmm.
ranked all of the fingerboarders that have been to and competed at any of the sanctioned events or past tour stops. And we've got a power rankings list for our invitational portion of the competitions for this tour coming out. So we'll have a power ranking list for the West, the East, the North, and the South for Game Escape, Best Trick, and Best Run. Also, remember at Nationals, the winner of Game Escape, Best Run Trick, and Best Run Street, we're sending those guys all expenses paid to Germany to go compete on Fast Fingers 22 for USA FBL. I'm
Nice.
excited. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, that is a fantastic list of events, man. That's it's gonna be awesome.
Can be a great time. And then Plies Mag, issue number 4, the March issue would have launched probably last weekend, depending on when this episode drops. So go view that for free online or go pick up a physical copy for a fee. Definitely go check it out. It's these things are bangers. They're getting better and better every single month. And this month we have 4 more pages to the magazine as well. Doesn't seem like a big thing to some people, but for us, 4 more pages of awesomeness, I mean, that's pretty cool stuff.
That's big news, man. 4 pages. That's a lot of room to showcase a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff.
They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger and bigger. I can't wait till we get to the 50, 60 pages and it starts to really feel like a Thrasher
Like a
magazine.
hefty
Yeah,
magazine, yeah.
yeah. You can knock somebody out with it kind of big. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, Chris, where can people find you on the internet? What platforms are you are?
So you can find me both on Facebook and Instagram, both at Loose Nut FB. So Loose Nut FB can also be found over at the Big Cartel link is on the Instagram page, but it's also Loose Nut Fingerboards dot Big Cartel.
And I'm going to make it super easy on everybody. I'm going to put those links in the description for you. Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you all listening as well.
No worries, no worries. Until next time.
We'll see you again soon, man.
Rolling through the concrete chaos, I'm alive. With my fingerboard, I'm ready to dive. Pushing limits, flipping tricks, high in the sky. Every sliding grind, I'm chasing that high. Feel the rhythm, let it flow. Fingerboarding, let's steal the show. Fingerboarding, I'm flying free. With every flick, I'll write my story. On this board, I'm never alone. In the skate park, I found my home. Grip take tight, I'm soaring like a bird. Every trick a story, every slide a word. Grinding on the edge, I'm breaking the mold. Fingerboarding dreams worth the weight in gold. Hear the wheels as they scream in this fingerboarding dream. Fingerboarding, I'm flying free. With every flick, I'll write my story. On this board, I'm never alone. In the skate park, I found my home. Hear the wheels as they scream in this fingerboarding dream. Fingerboarding, I'm flying free. With every flick, I'll write my story. On this board, I'm never alone. In the skate park, I found my home. Fingerboarding, feel the thrill. Chasing feelings and never end.